your busy schedules. I know it's difficult, but we certainly appreciate it. We want to hear your concerns and how we can best help you navigate this and what we're up against, and we will keep each other informed. So our format tonight is we are going to hear from you. Thank you for everybody that submitted your comment cards. We want to hear from you so that when we sit down collectively, we know how to approach this situation and what studies have to be done and who we need to contact. So, I'm sorry? Lennar is not coming tonight, which actually, not a bad thing. And give me a second, let me tell you, after our meeting, and I have no idea if it had anything to do with our meeting or not, but Lennar went to the county, and the county asked them to make changes. So Lennar said that they were not prepared to come to another meeting and share any plans because they have to change their plans. So our goal, of course, is, at least I believe for the majority of people here, is for them to change their plan and leave the golf course alone. But before we do that, we need to hear from everybody. And then we will formulate what our next step of action is. We will keep you informed. We'll keep us informed. Before I start, I want to introduce some of our board members. We have Nick Ranjone on the end, Elliot Burns, Paul, Neil, and Ellen. We also have Captain Moss from Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. He's our district captain. He's the guy that keeps us safe. If you notice, we have lots of deputies around. And not that honestly, I don't believe that we need a big sheriff's presence here, because I think that we all have the same goal, and that is to make West Boca the best place to call home. So, we have Chief Demchek, who is with Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. And while I say that, let me tell you all that we started a program called Adopt a Fire Station. A lot of people don't know this, but our firefighters have to pay for a lot of things in the fire station, the cable, just necessities in their own station. So we started Adopt Your Fire Station, and to date, we have collected $6,600 for our station. And I know there's a lot of people here that have never been to a council meeting, have no idea. Lots of people didn't even know that we existed. But believe it or not, we've been around for 45 years. The council started with a group of concerned homeowners in West Boca. They were concerned with the Somerset shops. That's where it started. The building, that was all farm. This was all farms. And they got together and they formed the West Boca Community Council. And through the years, through the efforts of the West Boca Community Council, we've had schools built, Olympic Heights, your libraries that are out here in West Boca, fire stations, district sheriff's office, all through the efforts of the council. We have the Veterans Cemetery, which is in Boynton, that started with West Boca Community Council, finding a place for our veterans. So we're proud of that. We also stopped a dump that was going to in West Boca, an airport, University Drive that was going to come up and connect to Glades Road and dump 70,000 cars a day. And although we know those cars are still coming from Broward County, we know that they're not going through the middle of any of our communities, keeping our schools and our residents safe. So with that, I'm going to turn it over and let's talk about what you want. I know we have more than just Boca Lago here. So we want to hear from other communities because it is about West Boca as a whole. And although we are extremely concerned for Boca Lago, this does impact everybody in West Boca in one way or another, either through schools, fire rescue, traffic, which I know is probably the #1 issue that we're facing with this. So we do want to hear from you. And we'll start.
Do you want me to start with the front? Or do you want to start yourself?
I know that we have some people that represent the whole community. So we'll start with you.
I can start. Hi, everybody. Thank you all very much. I'm from Boca Lago, the Cypresses of Boca Lago. My name is Sharon Slavic. My husband, Sheldon Reiner, is the president of the HOA of Cypresses. And we're so... Alan's here with me from the Fairways. He's representing, he's on a committee with me, ad hoc committee, and we're trying to put together a committee that has a representative from each and every one of our pods, so that we can get together and we can do things as a whole at one time, and really big and really loud. And I just met the president of the Timbers. I'm so happy to meet him. Anybody else that would be that has an HOA, if you're in our area, I don't care where you're from really, let us know, and let's join together. Let's do this together. Because the bigger we are, the louder we are, the better off we're going to be. So that's one thing. So I just want to take a minute and thank West Boca Community Council for giving us a real opportunity to present our concerns and feedback about the proposed Lennar building project in Boca Lago. We're forming an ad hoc group, which I told you about. So once we get that together, we're going to, like I said, we're going to do things. We're already doing things. We're just going to do more things. So I'm really excited about that. In fact, we have an email address that he set up. Ellen set up. Hey, Ellen. It's called Boca Lago United @gmail.com. And we're going to use that email to do blast emails, to get information out to people, to get questions back, to get information back, so we can all stay in touch with each other all the time. So I just want to read some information, if you don't mind, from our communities. So these are some of our concerns. I'm sure they're similar for most people. These are some of our concerns. Increased traffic congestion on Lyons Road, Boca Lago Boulevard, and Boca Rio Road. Affects the West Boca area in general. However, the congestion on Lyons Road and Boca Rio Road between Blades Road and Palmetto Park Road is overwhelming. And it is no secret to Palm Beach County. Lyons Road has been improved. Oh, wait till I only have okay. Many times along its route to widen the road and alleviate more traffic. But the section between Blades Road and Palmetto Park Road remains 2 lanes on either side. The logical conclusion should be that unless and until the necessary road improvements to Lyons Road, to straighten it, to widen it, include pedestrian sidewalks, good, are made, Blades Road and Palmetto Park, between that area, any new development should be denied. Right now, the waiting times to exit or enter Norte Lago at Lyons Road, and it's the only in and only out for our community. Norte Lago is kind of long. Here we are, all the way back there. There's Lyons Road. Let's just put an entrance right there. Why not? We'll block them in. That's a good idea. I don't think so. The Cypress is already severely congested and dangerous in that area. The addition of traffic from a new development on top of Boca Lago will add unimaginable congestion to an already stressed Boca Lago Boulevard. Already, the traffic noise from the turnpike is unbearable for residents. Right? Now, next, impact on emergency services efficiency, and in particular, the Palm Beach County Fire Department, thank you very much, on Vista del Lago and Lyons Road. As it is, the fire department at Vista del Lago Road and Lyons Road could be severely hindered by the traffic congestion at the entrance and exit of the firehouse. Additional traffic from the Lennar proposal will cause further congestion and could cause delays in the arrival time of the fire department in an emergency to the point of being life-threatening. That's not good. 7 out of 8 of the pods at Boca Lago are 55-plus communities, and the fire department services are important to all residents. Aesthetics, green spaces in the Boca Lago community will be reduced, and water drainage problems will increase. Lennar's proposal is to build, now this is it's not funny. None of this is funny, but, so we were told at the last meeting it was going to be 4 stories, 3 stories to 2, right? I have a copy of the application. You know what it says? It says just 4 stories. So, at the time I wrote this, I thought we were getting 4, 3, and 2, which was bad enough, let alone for the whole thing to be 4 stories.
That's correct.
It is correct, and it's wrong. It's horrible. This type of structure is twice as high as the current 2-story structures in Boca Lago, in complete contradiction in a community designed for relaxation and retirement living. And in the following space, and the living space, green, floral, clean living space that we are proud to live in, forget about it. The 84-acre portion of the property they want to develop is all green space. The project will require an exorbitant amount of concrete, which have a serious negative impact on the beauty, air quality, airflow, and increase in heat settling in our communities. These are just a few of the complications that come with their project. In addition, the removal of such a large portion of the green area will reduce water absorption around our community from rain, tropical storms, and hurricanes, which may cause previously unexperienced flooding. As it is now, Norte Lago floods during rainstorms due to the lack of proper drainage. The proposed non-55-plus residents will add a hazard to Boca Lago. We have families. They're going to intertwine, like, I don't know, like somebody poking you in the eye. They want to intertwine families into 55 and older community. So that now you have situations, we experience some of it now, I'm sure it'll get worse. We have children coming in with their scooters, their electric bikes, they fish in our lakes, and all that kind of stuff. If something happened to a child out there, there's not very many people in our community. Number one, we're busy looking that way. We're not watching some of these kids. And if they got seriously hurt, we wouldn't be able to help them, possibly. That's terrible, because their parents aren't watching. You put a child on Lyons Road on our side of the road, and you have the rest of their friends across the street. Can you imagine a child trying to cross Lyons? I've done it. I prayed every time I had to cross, because it's dangerous. It's horrible. It's like a speedway. It's not just crowded. It's just they just drive like maniacs. I don't know where they're going. Lennar says their project will help with the sustainability of the Boca Lago Country Club. We're not convinced. With the Lennar development as requested, the country club's future is questionable, especially when their new development, right in the club's backyard, literally, is not required club membership. Yeah? So if the club were to financially fail altogether anyway, despite the extreme density from the Lennar project, then an unfortunate precedent is set. A precedent of height, density, community type, at the least. All of those things would be set, which causes great concern for our residents about the quality of living now and in the future. If the type of development Lennar has requested is approved, it would set a very ugly, overwhelming, intrusive precedent for our lovely community. Hence, all important reasons to deny the application now. So, that was good. 760+ residential units proposed by Lennar at 84 acres. Why so many? I mean, we all know the answer, right? I think it's color green, I'm pretty sure. Pulte put Boca Flores at 120 units on the same amount of golf course space, 9 holes. Yet Lennar is looking to put 762 units on 9 holes. It's a ridiculous density request. The Boca Flores development is tolerable, we like you all. Lennar's development proposal is not. Did they even consider other alternatives to revitalize the club? No. We adamantly oppose the project and respectfully submit that all efforts and considerations be made to deny this project and save our community from destruction.
Very
to speak about, if someone has already spoke about it, we would appreciate it if you would pass the mic on, because we do have limited time here. So next, Craig Winograd, you want to come up? You're in a different community, different situation.
Good evening. I represent the Homeowners Association of Timbers of Boca. I've been a resident here for 31 years. If those of you who don't know what Timbers of Boca is, it's on Lyons Road, across from Escondido. I believe you have another representative here from Escondido as well. Basically, living here for 31 years and watching the traffic has been just crazy. Does anybody know how many fatalities have actually happened on Lyons Road in the part that they call Dead Man's Curve? Any guesses out there? Yes. Guess again. Anybody else?
And how long? A year?
30 years. Over 24 fatalities in front of our community. Cars flipping over because even before they did the expansion on the roads, flipping over, ending up in Escondido, people's pools, and people are trapped in the cars, drowning to death. You know, it's unconscionable for me to have young kids, well, they're older now, but when they had to drive to school, making a left-hand turn or even a right-hand turn, and I'm talking 10 years ago, it was impossible. But now, I can stand literally on Lyons Road and count in a matter of 10 minutes at 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, several thousand cars. Southbound. How many people have tried to go southbound on Lyons Road during rush hour? How many people? Let me see hands. Don't be shy. See? For me to get out of my community, it'll take 15 minutes to even make a left-hand turn. So what would be the logical thing we tried to do last year, or several years ago? We tried to get a light on Dead Man's Curve. Shot down. Why? Florida Department of Transportation said it was not necessary. Okay, so how many more people have to die? Seriously, how many more people? We don't want a single more. We don't want anything like that to happen. Now with under 55 and over, 55 and younger, and pod 8, and not even, I was even looking, there was another pod on the in the Cypress area also. How many more homes is that, or condos? That was going to be about another 90, or 90 behind us. Not to mention walking out of my backyard and seeing a 4-story building there. But we have to do something. I'm really glad that you had a lot of great information. I did speak to a gentleman here today from Ken Tuma, I believe. It was very engaging. They're from UDSFlorida.com. And they basically are a conduit between the residents, between Lennar, and the community itself. And they seem pretty good. What they're looking to try and do here to try and make things better. I mean, sometimes you have to compromise. We all know that. We've had issues with the Sinai residences where it was supposed to be 5, 6 stories, and we got them down to 3 stories. These are the things we have to look at. I just do appreciate your time. I've taken up enough of your time this evening. I am available to speak to anybody after the meeting. Great one, Greg.
Thank you, Craig. I'm Gary Brown. And Gary, if you could keep it short. We have a lot.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gary Brown. I'm the president of Friends of Boca Raton. I'd like to thank West Boca Council for having this format. You can't hear me? No. All right, can you hear me now? All right. Special occasion. Right, Captain Moss? Okay. Anyway, also, we had a meeting with the Cypress Pod the other day, and Commissioner Sachs was there, and we really appreciate that and the support she's going to give us with this. So let's talk about how we got here. 1973, a gentleman by the name of Benjamin Franklin, not Benjamin Franklin, put this development together. And the plans they used in 1973 were a little bit different than what's going on here. 52 years ago. Now, when Lennar was up here the other day, they said, well, you got 4,000 capacity you could put in this development.
And we're looking at the plan from 1973. 52 years ago, do you know what the population in Palm Beach County was? About 349,000 for the entire county. 50 years ago, when they were doing studies, some people actually stood on the corner, watched cars with a clicker. That was the technology back then. No cell phones, no internet, no GIS, no Google, no laptop. It was old technology. Could anybody forecast in 52 years what this place was going to look like in 2025? I don't think so. And so now we're left with them saying, well, hey, you know what? We're nice guys. We got 1,818 homes here. Let's stick another 763 residents in here. It'll be fine, based on a 1973 report. Disingenuous. So that raises the flag. Let's talk about a couple other things that are going on. You're talking about road trips. According to the data, you're looking at two things. You're looking at 15,063 trips a day just with the new people that are going to be in here and along with what you have. But you're going to also have something called service trips, about 2,700. Service trips. Anyone get Amazon? Yeah. Anyone have UPS or Uber Eats or something else? Those are service trips. So that adds up too. Okay? So if you look at what's going on right now, along with the new developments that have been recently put in here, okay, the Lotuses and across the street where they're going to put in, you're probably looking at 36,223 additional. Now, why is that important? Because what's going to happen is your insurance rates are also going to be affected. Why are your insurance rates going? Well, higher density, close to 38 to 40% higher density just in your developments. So what that means is two things. First of all, insurance rates for your car will probably go up about anywhere from 9 to 11%, which means if you've got two cars, that means about $500 is $250 a car, and then the insurance on the house will probably go up another $175. So you're paying for it. The other problem is somebody talked about emergency response. So let's talk about that. If you need an ambulance, I'm 69. I'm not proud of it, but I'm here, all right? I got 69 good years. When you hit 55 and above, your ability to survive heart attack and stroke goes down. So let's talk about that. So if you have today, and you're going, let's talk at West Boca Hospital. If it's a 7-minute ride or 14 to 18-minute round trip, because they got to pick you up and they got to take you there, okay? You've got about a 90 to 88% survivability. When you go to 5 to 10 minutes, it drops to anywhere from 80 to 78% if you have a major trauma. At 10 to 15 minutes, it drops down to maybe stroke 65%, 70% for heart attack, and 60% for major trauma. 15 to 20 minutes, you're in the 50% range. Now, so why is that important? Well, obviously, if you've got all that traffic on the roads and all that traffic inside, and the other problem is they talked about, and two people talked about it already, the development is like an ice cream sandwich. Lions on the top, Boca Rio on the bottom, you guys are the creamy, okay? So why is that important? Well, they're talking about the development of those two locations. If you look at Boca Rio Road, there's a 10-year plan. First 5 years go from Glades over to Palmetto. 5 years later, you go from Palmetto to Southwest 18th Street. Now that's if everything is perfect. How many projects run on time? Okay, and how about hurricanes and other interruptions? So yes, that's a problem. So one of the things we have to be affected about is what's going to happen with those roads. Well, again, according to their plan, they're thinking things will be done by 2027. 2027. Well, if that's when they're going to go and start building, you're going to have both of those at the same time. The infrastructure will not be in place in that time. They sold their units. Bye-bye, sayonara, see you later. Who's holding? And the other thing is, when they had their plan, they talked about one of the guys from, I believe it was from Kimley and Horn. He said he has to do a traffic study. When you do an application, you have to have one of the elements is a traffic study. Guess what's in the public records? Here's the traffic study. And the traffic study is a little disingenuous at some level too, because they're only looking at a 2-mile radius of what's going to be impacted here. It's a lot more than 2 miles, and some of their models that they're looking at from 1985. So I don't know what all of this is amounting to, but I can tell you one thing. The most important thing happening tonight is that you're here. This is huge. You have Boca Council, you have your community now getting engaged. They came in here and they thought they were going to bulldoze. They're not going to bulldoze. If you're united, you have your numbers together, and you organize, there's a good chance you can defeat this or get it down to a smaller level. Thank you.
Judy Esleta. Judy, you want to come up? And also Joel Friedman. Yeah. Jerry Edelman.
Hi, my name is Joel Friedman, and I live in the Pines. I've been a resident for more than 20 years. I'd like to ask a few questions. I know a lot of people are not here to answer them, but I think it's important that the council hear the questions, because these are questions that the council or whomever, the attorneys, somebody should be asking. First thing is, what is the price of these 4-story units? By the way, we were told that they're all 2-bedroom units and townhouses. So the first question is, what are the prices of them? Number 2, are any of these units low-income subsidy units? Okay, I think we have to get that up front to make sure that they're not sneaking in Section 8 housing. The next thing is, we currently, I'm talking Boca Lago, we're a 55 and over community. I do believe there's one pod that went to open age. These 800 units that they want to live, they want to build, these people are going to live there all year round. These are family units. So people aren't going home, we don't have snowbirds, we don't have Canadians there. These are all working units. And where are they going to have recreation for their children? Or do they have any parks? Do they have anything? I looked at the drawings. I was told that they're going to build a playground, but I can't find it on their plans. They're going to wind up in our pools. They're going to wind up in our backyards. They're going to wind up all over the place. These are kids. You can't believe that they're not going to do that. We were all kids at one time, and we all did those kind of things. The architecture that they showed doesn't fit into our community. We basically have 2-story buildings and 1-story villas with barrel roofs, with beautiful lawns and landscaping. What I looked at with their pictures when they showed them the last time, it looks like tenement buildings. It looks like projects in the city of New York. I mean, aesthetically, it's a joke. I live by the firehouse that we talked about on Lyons Road, and I don't want to beat it to death with traffic, but I asked at the last meeting, we've been denied a traffic light, which I don't understand because it exists. But they won't turn it on, only the fire department can use it. We can't seem to get the do not block intersection out there. So these people, especially in the rush hour, you can't even get out of development. If God forbid there's any kind of emergency, you can't get out of there. We asked for signs, do not block the intersection. I personally called a number of times. We used to have 2 signs there, one of them got knocked down, they never replaced it. We don't have a stop sign the other way. People come driving in like crazy. and make the turn from the northbound side. Okay? Forgetting not only the traffic, but the danger. Now, talking about traffic for a minute, you have to assume with 800 units, family units, probably 2 cars a unit, but let's say 1.5 cars a unit. Where are they going to park? Where are they going to park them? Are they going to have 2 parking spots per unit? If they give them 1 parking spot a unit, they're short 400 spots at 1.5. That's without visitors, nothing. So, I mean, I don't know what their parking situation is. Security, are they going to have security at their entrances? Or are people just going to come in and out and run wild? Are we going to have walls and fences to protect our areas? We're still waiting for walls and fences behind in the pines. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. The density, what about our lakes? All of you folks that have lake views, are those lakes going to exist? Right now, the lake behind my house in the Pines is beautiful. They've done a wonderful job cleaning up that lake. And it's a pleasure to sit out in the back and look at the water. I don't know if we're going to have that. There's no conversation. Are they going to be moving lakes? Are they going to cut us off? What about people that have golf course views? Well, you now got 4-story building views. Okay? Our documents. And this to me is a very sore spot. When Boca Flores was built, our documents said recreation only. And we were told that we would have a vote to change our documents or to allow Boca Flores to be built. Well, we didn't have a vote. Our board voted. And with all due respect to our board, and I know most of them, and I know that they're doing a heck of a good job for us, but with all due respect, the residents should have the right to vote. Not the 6 or 7 people on the board. Okay? And we were told that our documents, that they weren't changed, that it was only a one-time allowable bill. And I spoke about setting precedent. Nobody wanted to listen. I don't know if they even understood what I was talking about. Once you break a contract and you set a precedent, you open yourself up for all kinds of issues. So now we're being told that they're never going to build again was a 10-year agreement, not a forever agreement. So I don't know what the documents, I'm not an attorney, and I don't know what the documents and how badly they've been damaged. So just in finalizing, I'm really disappointed that Lennar did not show up here tonight, and for no other reason than to listen. And for no other reason than to listen. And is there any representative of the country club here? Is there one representative of the country club who's going to destroy our communities? It's not only Boca Lago, it's all the surrounding communities. We're all in it together. Thank you very much.
Well, my remarks will be very brief, actually, because a lot of it's already been said. The traffic issue is just so obvious. I mean, we know what it's like now.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Judy Selter. They announced me, and I'm in second place now. Not first. I am from the fairways of Boca Lago. And as I said, the traffic is obvious what's going to happen. Because we know what it's like now in rush hour, just trying to get out on one of those roads. If you dump another, 1,400 cars onto Boca Lago, probably. You can't even imagine. This whole thing is insanity. I can't even believe it's gotten this far. That's number one. The second thing is somebody mentioned that we're a water retention area. I don't know if you really thought about what that means. Because once you put concrete all over a water retention area, which is exactly what they're going to do, think of what happens now when we're preparing for a storm. What do they do with the pools, the lakes, whatever you want to call them? They lower them. Why do they lower them? Because of the amount of water that's going to be running off. And if all that area is concreted over, where is it going to run to? It's going to run exactly. It's going to run into your houses. And I think we need to address that as another serious issue.
Vessel.
Hi, I'm Jerry Edelman from the Vistas. Pretty much everything I had to say was covered. I was just wondering, what management company is going to manage them, ours or Lennar's? I know in the Vistas, we do, people that move in, we have a background check on everybody. My wife does the interviews. She interviews everybody, let them know the rules and regs. Is anybody going to do that? I know our maintenance is going to go up because we're going to have to get better security. And of course our taxes are going to go up for fire rescue, police, schools. And that's everything. Oh, nobody talks about the Lotus over here. How many people are in there that are adding cars to Lime Roads, plus all the other cars that are going to be there? I don't know. That's it. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can I take this? I'm really passionate about what I'm going to say, and I want to really reach out to each and every one of you. My name is Lynn LaSalle. I'm really nobody important. I'm just another resident like you. I'm in the business. But I have a lot of important things to say. The major issues were covered, and we're all concerned about that. Listen, I'm not retired. I was trying to get from 441 to Lions Road last night at 5 o'clock. It took me 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That's a 5-minute drive. And that's besides the point. What I really want to reach out to all of you and say is, how many of you, by a show of hands, have actually looked at the map on Boca Lago together? Okay, so you've looked at that map. I happen to know a lot of people in the country club. I've been living here 10 years, and I'm going to tell you that when I first moved in, they were in the red. So here's what I'm going to say. If you've looked at that map, and you see where they're going to build, let's just take a big circle in the middle where they're building all that stuff, and then they're going to throw one hole over here, one hole over there, one hole over there. If any golfers in here? Are you going to go to a golf course where you have to go a half mile to a mile in between holes that you're driving through in and out of communities? And something that hasn't really been talked about is the fact that they're going to eliminate all the tennis courts in order to make an intersection at Lions Road and Boca Lago Boulevard. Aside from the 3 driveways or streets that will feed onto Boca Lago Boulevard. And that's going to be incredible for all of us, right? Now, if they take those tennis courts away, which is part of the country club, are those members going to stay there? I do not believe it. Sorry, I'm very dry now. Passionate. I do not believe that the country club has any intention of doing any restoration. I believe that with this process, with having Lennar coming in and building all these different homes, there's going to be nothing left because they're not going to make any money and they're going to say they have to sell the rest. So this is my question. How many of you are willing to compromise to make sure the county's going to approve something? They absolutely are going to approve something. There's no way we're going to get this to just go away and disappear. Because the country club has had at least 16 years to try and make it go, okay? And they're not doing a damn good job. Okay? behind my unit is we used to be a putting green. I mean, it used to be the whole one. Now it's the putting green. And if they do what they're going to do, it's going to be a lake. What's that about? Now we're going to have flood insurance needed, right? So the most important thing I want to say is really think about what we can do to minimize this in the best way possible. We band together. If we stay strong together, we can get what's best for us, not for them. Thank you.
Millie, Polito, Belmont, Ballerini.
Here.
And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Okay, 3 minutes.
Just 3 minutes.
I feel like we're on The Price is Right and she's running up.
My name is Donna, and I want to say I do not live in Boca Lago. I'm here with my neighbor Donna and friend, and we live in Arborwood Villas. And across the street is Arborwood, right? That's a bigger community. We are literally in Arborwood Villas. We are right on the intersection of Palmetto and Lyons. Okay, so come out of our neighborhood. Many times I go north to go south because we can't get out of our neighborhood, and I go up by the fire station. And thank God they are there, because you hear them on the weekends, every half hour there's a wreck. You hear the screech of the tires, and then you hear the metal crash, and 2 seconds later I hear the ambulance going. At night, we already have drag racing, the loud mufflers, the pop, 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 like shotgun blasts. Traffic is a mess. We in our neighborhood, Arborwood Villas, I've lived there 20 years, we've had at least 3 accidents I know of where the car literally went into the bushes, where, if you know Arborwood Villas, there's no wall, and the wall on Palmetto is fake, it's like styrofoam or something. Cars have crashed into them, put holes in the wall. We've had cars go into the back of some of the homes on Arborwood Villas. They talked about at the meeting, which I didn't attend, but I watched online, thankfully, that they said they're going to widen, they're going to remodernize, they're going to do something to the intersection. Where? Our neighborhood lives on the intersection. There's no room to widen or build or anything. So, for the same reasons you all said very eloquently, you all did your research and your facts, I don't have facts to give, just as I love this community and they're really destroying it, and it's going to become nothing but pavement, because it already is horrendous. Between the Lotus and everything else, and all the farming is gone. We know that modernization, farms are going to go, sadly, but it's just, it can't happen, but we know something will happen. But I just wanted to represent us little guys in Arborwood Village. We're your neighbors, your community is beautiful, we're small, but we're mighty, and Arborwood Village as well. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Millie Polito, and I live in the Fairways. I have lived there for 10 years now, and I've seen a lot of changes. This one, I thought when Flores was going to be built, it would be devastating. This is definitely going to devastate our neighborhood. Most of the speakers, before me have really mentioned everything I had on my notes, so I don't want to be redundant, but I do want to say a couple of things. Number one, critical issues. Lennar claims that there is a distance of 150 to 200 feet. In reality, 3- and 4-story walls, they're towering over our 1-story villas and 2-story condos. It's going to look like, I may as well go back to New Jersey and live in Newark, because it's exactly what it's going to look like. It's going to look like tenement housing. It's disgusting. Not to mention the traffic issues that they mentioned. There are going to be children. It's not a 55 and over, so people are going to have children. We already have problems where there's one community that allows children. They're running into our paths, and we don't expect them to be there because we live in a senior community. So I would like everyone to think about what's happening. I can appreciate I'm sorry, I missed your name. Is it Judy? Sharon? She mentioned something about, something is going to exist, but it should be, somehow scaled down. I don't agree with that. First of all, that golf course was slated to be a recreational area. We're building houses like I said, like we're in New York. And our property values, I don't care what Lennar says, it's not going to increase, it's going to decrease. Number one, because of the traffic. Number two, they're going to have to build another school, for all I know, to accommodate these children. And it just doesn't work. Now, in summary, I don't want to bore you. Basically, we're concerned about overcrowding, local traffic congestion. Flood risk is a major situation. I don't really know, and I'm sorry I don't have the information, I didn't have a chance to, but I heard rumors at the last meeting that there's a lake on Boca Lago which is not kept by the county. I don't know who services it, but I heard that that lake cannot be filled in, and I want to know where that water is going to go when they build and they take that away. Overcrowding of schools, as I said, is a big concern. Overburdening the emergency system, all the services. We're all old. We all require something at some point or another. We demand preservation of our community, green spaces, and infrastructure.
Lisa Watt. Judy D'Amato.
Wow. Thank you. Thank everybody for coming tonight. I just want to address something that nobody has addressed yet, and that's that we share our lives with wildlife. Really nobody has brought this up as yet, and it's actually a question to the commission, because I used to live off of 41 at the very end of Palm Beach County, where Palm Beach County and Broward kind of meet where Loxahatchee is. And when they did the build over there and they looked straight down Loxahatchee, all the coyotes got displaced. And they wound up in our neighborhood. They ate a dog off a leash in front of one of the owners. In our neighborhoods, we know what we have. We have rats. We have raccoons. We have mice. We have some opossums, cats and rats and elephants, and probably some unicorns as well. And so the council, I'm asking what happened when that Loxahatchee was built. Would the county, if they do build, do anything about protecting our homes and our, we'll have vents, air vents that protect our attics. That's where the rats go. They get real skinny and they slip in there. And I think we really have to also think about when they displace all of these animals that have every right to live where they're living, we're displacing them. Where are they going to go? And are we going to have coyotes in our neighborhoods? And then what happens?
Good evening. My name is Lisa Watt, and I live in the Cypresses. A couple of the issues that I was worried about and wanted to bring up have already been addressed. The one that had really concerned me, the gentleman who discussed whether any of these units will be HUD or Section 8 housing. I'm concerned about it because since this is not going to be an over 55 area, and these are 2-bedroom units for families, that's a real concern, and it also seems, being here tonight, the word disingenuous keeps being repeated. Nobody wants a business partner who is disingenuous. And from the 4-story building that Sharon said, she was told 2, 3, and 4. It's actually 4. And 4-story buildings that someone else suggested look like tenements. And frankly, there's a demographic in our neighborhoods. We can see it in this room. We want to maintain, I'm assuming, that demographic. And I don't know if we can get, if this project does go forward, some kind of a guarantee from Lennar that there will be no HUD or Section 8 housing. These are people that the state sponsors because they can't afford the rent or the mortgage. That is not the demographic of our communities. The second thing that worries me, I've been in Palm Beach County for over 30 years. And those of you who've been here a long time, I'm sure, have seen many developers go belly up before their projects are complete. We all know the state of the real estate market today. Nothing is selling. So why Lennar is putting how many units? 700? Can they put bodies in those condos? Or are we going to wind up with half-built concrete walls surrounded by yellow warning tape like what just happened with Penn, Florida on Camino and Federal? The buildings are half-built and they're on the auction block. And it's been that way for 2 years, Camino Real and Federal Highway. And we don't want that kind of a desolate, concrete, half-finished city in the middle of our beautiful neighborhood. So my question would be to Lennar, and of course it's rhetorical, they can't answer it, how do you guarantee you can put bodies in these 700 plus units? That's
Bill Cohen, and then Yodine Andrew.
Yeah, it's me. Okay. Hi, my name is Evelyn Andrieux. I have a French accent, but I'm an American and I live here for 26 years. And I'm a proud American. Okay, I'm going to take that.
Hold the mic in your hand. It's better if you hold it out. Straight up.
Wow. Thank you. Everything that was said is common sense. I'm not going to go back there. I just want to repeat what Maria Sachs said during the last county hearing. She said Florida has beaches and golf courses. So nobody is talking about the value of that golf because right now we are lacking memberships in Boca Raton. I know it for a fact. And we have a big green space with 2 golf courses, right? It's 2 golf courses, right?
3 large.
Okay, so we want to shrink that. And as she said, and then she was somewhere here, and I really appreciate that she said that, it's a value, it's a big value. So beside all the craziness, the traffic that we talk about, the noise, the pollution and everything, do we really need 700 more people in that pod that is the golf? Knowing that we have 450 more townhouses being built just north of Glades, I think we are going too far now. To develop a city is not to die. We cannot kill the people who already live here. We wait for all our life to be retired at peace and enjoy. Now we are facing not only the construction site for 2 years, 3 years, but we are also facing a lot of changes that we don't deserve. And that location doesn't deserve that. What we need is to keep the golf course, stop the craziness, keep the recreational, and find a company that will be interested in the golf course, like they just did in Miami. Miami found a buyer. They bought 3 golf courses. They are going to revitalize. We have the potential. We have Lotus, we have the new townhouse coming, and we have a lot of members to come. So that's what we have to fight. And that's it. Thank you.
So when I was a lot younger, my name is Phil Cohen, and I'm a 2-year resident of Horizons at Boca Lago. And I to hear me? Even the guy in the gold shirt in the back of the hat. Can you hear me? You can. Good. I'm only going to say about 3 or 4 items, but I think they're all important. And I promise not to repeat what everybody else has said tonight. When I was a lot younger and I was working for a living, I had a supervisor who said to me, Phil, you got to remember one thing. Everybody lies. So if you remember one thing tonight from me, please remember that everybody on the other side lies. Don't listen to whatever they say, especially the guy who's got the same last name as me, Elliot Cohen. Elliot Cohen came up with the idea of a website called Boca Lago Together. I wrote him a letter, one of many, and I asked him, what's together? I don't feel that I'm any part of you. And certainly Boca Lago isn't part of Lennar. And of course, I got a boilerplate answer. Every one of the guys or gals who were up here last week, who were hired by Lennar to do traffic studies and other studies, it's all bullshit. They don't tell you the truth. So please don't listen and don't accept it as truth because they're trying to sell you. And my father was a great salesman. And he never told the truth. So I live in Horizons, which happens to be the community that is not 55 plus, and I didn't do it. I'm only there 2 years, and the people who did it are no longer there, so there's no one you can yell at. And we'd love to change it, but can't. So we live with it. But now we gotta live with 762 families that also have children. And most of us all had children. Most of us are older now, and our kids are older, and they're adults and real people. But they were kids at one point. And what's that say? Don't be fooled by Lennar's slick PR, vote no. I agree with that. And kids will be kids. And there's not much you can do about it. And no matter what we try to do at Horizons, now multiply it by 762 families. And you have no control, because you don't run the condo association board of directors. You know that's going to be a board of directors that's run by Lennar. You know that Lennar is going to try to take over the board of directors of Horizons and Vistas and Cypress and Glades and Fairways and Greens and who did I miss? And the Pines. Sorry, Marilyn. So, where does this all end up? It ends up in, someone once said to me, you can't change your DNA. Cops tell you that all the time. That's how they grab people. Well, guess what? Lennar will change the DNA, not only of Boca Lago, but if we allow it, all of West Boca. We cannot allow them to come in. Cannot. Too short again? So, I was just asked if I was done. No. The answer is, if we give up now, if we say 762 is too big, but 500 is okay, we lose. If we say 400 is okay, we lose. We cannot compromise. Thank you.
Gaynor?
Pretty much everything has been said, except,
Come on, you can talk.
okay, real brief. Everything really has been covered well by many people. And it opened up a few my eyes to one or two things. First off, there is a recorded document that the country club has entered into a sale agreement with Lennar. And it's called a release back mortgage. And what that means is, if Lennar does not get their way, the country club has to pay them back all monies that they've already paid in. Well, we know the country club can't do that. So Lennar is then going to foreclose and own the whole thing. This is only foreplay for them into the whole development. Not 9 holes, 27. So we do have to say no now, otherwise it's all over. Truly. We all know about flooding. We know about traffic. We know about the ecology. We know about birds and animals and pristine conditions that we live in. It's all going to be gone. So we have to really vigilantly say no now, otherwise it's just a matter of time.
I live in the Cypresses, Abram Gaynor.
Hello everyone, my name is Jim Wagey and I live in the Fairways. Anyone here from the Fairways? I kind of want to echo what Abram just said, and when you look at the actual map, if you just take a quick look at it, you can see what Lennar did. It's called a land grab. They took every large piece of land and decided this is where we're going to put our 4-story buildings. So from that standpoint, then they moved the golf course in all different directions. I think that was mentioned before. So no one's going to want to play on this golf course. Now, have you guys seen how many people actually play on the golf course? No. Well, let me tell you, during the season, every single golf course in this area is packed. I mean, you cannot get a hole, you can't even get in there. There's hardly anyone on our golf course because he jacked up the rates to such a high extent, they're not going to go there. So why are they doing that? Because they want to sell the land. They want the money for the land. That's all there is. And I agree with what was said. This isn't just, if you all were probably the ones that were affected, I'm one of those people. It's not just us. They're going to take over the entire golf course. There'll be houses, there'll be 4-story buildings, there'll be townhomes right in your backyards. So I want to mention that if you don't see people here that are not affected, you know people that are saying, oh, don't worry about it. I'm not affected. Well, you're going to be affected, just like he said. So go tell them that. And the other thing is November is going to be the very important thing for everybody here, and then some, to show up in the county. Where's the county in West Palm?
Wilson, it's up in West Palm.
And it's in West Palm. Now, I know it was easy to get here, because it only took you, with Lions Road, it may take you a little longer, but you guys, we have to get there. I know that they're going to try and get buses, but you have to get there. You must get there. That's the only way we're going to stop these people from taking over and destroying Boca Lago. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Neil Schiller, who's going to go over the people that submitted comment cards and wanted us to read them out. But I want to tell you something. When Lennar first came to me last year and telling me how beautiful the community, their housing is, their architecture, and what they wanted to do, they weren't giving me the units. And I kept saying, just cut to the chase, just cut to the chase. We were a half hour into this meeting when he finally said 800 units, and I immediately said, we will aggressively fight you. And we absolutely will with your help. We will not stop.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I'm going to make this very quick. And we had a lot of cards from people that didn't want to speak but had a lot of questions. So I've looked over them, I've summarized them, and I wanted to bring some of these issues up to everybody because they were brought up in the cards. Gopher turtles. Looking at an addition of wildlife, specifically gopher turtles on the golf course and in the area. That's something that they've been observed, and maybe that's an area we can stop. Parking has been discussed. Parking not only for the club, but for the Lennar 762 residents. That's something that we need to look at. Do all pods have to agree? After the Boca Flores moratorium on any building in Boca Lago property, that's something that we're looking at. I will just take this opportunity to say, I am a lawyer. I've worked for a government law group. I've been hired by the POA to represent Boca Lago in opposition So that is a different hat that I'm not necessarily wearing tonight. I'm wearing my Treasurer of West Boca Community Council hat tonight. But want you to know, if you live in Boca Lago, that we are working on it aggressively, and you'll be hearing from your pods and your leadership in those specific pods. Another question, what can we as individual homeowners do to pressure the county to refuse Lennar's plans to build at Boca Lago? Do what you're doing tonight, show up to meetings, email your county commissioners, not just Commissioner Sachs, she's our district commissioner, but there are 6 others. And we will push out those names and those email addresses and who you can call to make your voices heard. Don't think your neighbor's going to do it. Don't rely on anybody else. You take 5 minutes of your day and do it once a month. Not just once a month. I want them to know each of your names when we get up to the county commission meeting this fall or next spring. A big question is home values. What is this going to do to home values? They're going to say that it's going to increase your property values, but I don't know about 3,300 trips doing that daily. Lennar's asking for 4-story apartment buildings. Will this county have those height reduced to 2 stories? I would assume that the reason Lennar's isn't here tonight, is because they're changing their plans. My guess is they heard many of us at the last meeting that what they were proposing wasn't acceptable. So they're going in to revise the plans. I checked today. Nothing has been submitted as of today. Okay, well, that being said, they're probably revising the plan. So this is the time where we need to stay vigilant. We need to remain on edge and on watch. Somebody had a question about schools. They already got a letter from Palm Beach County Schools saying this will negatively impact local schools. What is to stop Lennar from selling multi-units to be rented, Airbnb or VRBO? That's a great question and a great concern. There's a lot of concern about the destruction of the 55 and older communities in Boca Lago. What we'll be adding 762 units, or almost 50% more that aren't 55 and older. That is a major issue. That is a clash of communities. Even though we have a small non-55 and older pod existing today, that is different from 762 non-55 and older units. That is a big issue, and that's something that the county is going to definitely look at.
School buses.
Not to mention school buses. I think that's most of the comments. I will say in closing, and then I'll let Sherry wrap up. The most important... Yes, go ahead.
I think it's the elephant in the room. What can be done about the blatant conflict of interest of our county representative, Maria Sachs? Her husband's attorney's firm, is representing the firm. I've been told that she is saying, and I don't know if Maria's here, that he's retired. I've gone through his entire website. I've gone through things he's published recently on that website, as recently as February. So if he is retired, he's retired in the last 2 weeks, because it's April. we have a conflict of interest here and a little bit of a quandary, but she's also our mouthpiece. So, yet, and Phil said it,
So
people lie, and I'm not afraid to say it. What are we going to do about either getting any kind of recusal or a firewall or something that keeps, it doesn't matter what people say, it's what's going to happen.
So just to repeat the question so everybody hears, the question was about our county commissioner, Maria Sachs, and her husband's representation of the club. And you're not the first person to ask the question. You're not the last person to ask the question. There are a lot of people here that did ask the question. What I will say is that that's something that we're looking at specifically, and that we're not taking a position on right now until we absolutely have to. Maria has been supportive of the communities in this room. She has been. Whether she, let's just let it be fair. She has been. Whether she will change her opportunity, her position, I don't know. She has been fairly consistent in opposing development, so I don't know. I haven't spoken to her directly about that, but it's something that we're looking at and not something we're prepared to talk about tonight. Absolutely.
Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
I live in the Greens.
I'll repeat it. I'll repeat
Okay.
it.
Don't we have two mics? Why don't you use the other mic?
Get Lennar out of the picture.
The mic.
And the country club now has to
Walk it
pay
over
back
there.
the 14
Take it out.
million or whatever it is that was paid to them. We get Lennar out, what happens then? Can the county take over the country club, the golf course, and make it?
All right, so the question is, what happens if Lennar goes away? What happens to the club? And what happens, maybe the county could take over a portion of the club or whatever. Let me, I've been doing this for almost 30 years, even though I look almost 30. Okay? But let me tell you, in this business, there are only certain things you can control. That scenario is so far afield right now, it's not something that we can necessarily control. I think, and when the pods made the decision, the POA made the decision to oppose this project, it was for the betterment of the whole POA, right? It wasn't necessarily to save the club. That entered into their discussions, I could tell you, but at the end of the day, this isn't, I don't think they feel this is the right way to save the club. This is a bailout. At the end of the day, this is a corporate bailout by granting them 762 units on golf course property. So it's a great question. It's something we need to continue to consider as this project moves along. But won't it be a great opportunity if they leave, right? Won't it be great if we beat them and we have to face that problem going forward?
Is there any influence that we can have on this golf and country club? They've created this whole scenario.
So the question is...
And they make it difficult for us to participate.
Sure.
Unless we're willing to spend fortunes of money to go have lunch there or something.
What can we do to
I don't know,
the
can
club?
we take it over?
That's a question for another venue. That's definitely a question for another venue. I'm gonna do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. 8 last questions, okay? I'm gonna work from the. I'm gonna do this. Try to do this as fair as possible. Okay? I'm gonna work from the beginning to the end. So keep your hands up, or as we're done with the question.
Quick question.
All right, quick question.
Real quick. The golf course is zoned recreational? The golf course is zoned recreational.
There's a recreational use on it.
Okay, so for anything to be built on that, does that require a variance to change it to residential?
So what they've asked for is a development order amendment, which will allow them to develop on those. They don't need a rezoning. They don't need a land use plan amendment.
Really?
It's all buildable property. It's designated in the plat. It's designated elsewhere as recreational property. There is an inconsistency. So that's something that we're going to raise if we ever get to a hearing.
Is
And
that
that's a
for
big
the green areas?
Yes, absolutely. Next question.
Thank you.
Since we're talking about the golf course,
course, and we know that Lotus does not have a golf course.
I'll restate the question for everybody.
Can we approach Lotus to take over our golf course?
Can we
Because
approach Lotus to take over the golf course?
Because I heard that Boca Woods has approached them already to use their golf course, and possibly that would bail Steve out of it.
Interesting. That's a great question. But again, we don't control the. Go ahead, Ellen. We don't control the club. If we have any club-specific questions, let's save those for another time, please, because that's not something that I can speak about. I don't represent the club. I don't know the club. None of us necessarily do. So let's try to deal with the application and the issue that's in front of us. Yes, ma'am.
Maria Sachs was invited to the Cypress's Board of Directors. The Cypress's Board of Director meeting last Wednesday. I specifically asked her about her husband, and she stated in front of the board and everybody who was at the meeting that her husband is retired.
Okay, excellent. So that's the answer to the question. Maria stated that her husband's been retired. That's the latest information that we have. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Neil. There's been a lot of talk tonight about how everybody feels about this development. And there's an expression that the kids use about your feelings. I think what we would really benefit from in our fight to maintain our homesteads and our investments is hard data, whether it's environmental, whether it's the traffic study aspect, whether it's the overcrowding in school aspects. We can all have our feelings, and they're valid as hell. But if we're going to sway the minds of those in power, those that we're going to be petitioning late this fall, we better have hard facts. It's going to cause this amount of flooding. It's going to cause X amount of overcrowding or traffic, and be able to point to hard facts. Let's all keep our feelings, but I don't think that the people we're petitioning give a flying...
Well, let's just stop. So that's a very good point as far as the facts. So just to reiterate, the council will continue to push out information, maybe talking points, maybe other salient facts. Again, this application is changing before our eyes, but you have a very good point about the use of facts. Yes, sir.
Good friend of mine is a land use attorney.
Okay.
And he said that the most effective argument before the council is to have expert witnesses. Do you intend to have expert witnesses on the various areas, traffic and so forth? What are you talking about?
So the question is use of expert witnesses in our presentation. So here's the good news. The good news is, as opponents to an application, we don't have to put on a case. We don't have to necessarily use expert witnesses to put on our case. I have about 1,000 residents telling the commissioners that we don't want this in our neighborhood, this is a bad idea, and there's too much traffic as is. However, because of my experience, we will rely on certain different experts as far as planners, traffic personnel to go through the traffic study in order to generate the talking points for us, the public, and we get up to the commissioners and we get up to West Palm Beach and get up and say, this is why we don't want the project. We don't think it's the right project for all the different reasons that we're going to give you. Yes, sir. And then you've been so patient. Yes.
In a few short weeks, we'll be heading back north.
I'm going to repeat the question. Go ahead. Your snowboards, and you're going to be leaving in a couple weeks.
Yes, and I want to make sure we can stay actively involved, so we need communication to us.
Absolutely.
Back up north.
So, how many people are leaving in a couple of weeks to go back up north for the nice cool summer instead of the hot, crazy desert we have down here? Great. I don't think this application is going to be heard over the summer. I think there will be a lot of different development as far as what is being proposed. The most important thing is if we haven't gotten your email address or your phone number, or if you want to sign up for our email blast, Sherry's going to tell you. Sherry,
Yes.
What's the web address?
You can email us at wbccemail@gmail.com if you did not sign in. I'll put more sign-in sheets out if you didn't leave us your email. But we want to hear from the board presidents so that we can organize with them. They can pump the information out. So if you are a board president, please get with me. We will be sending you information as well as the general public on that. So that everybody's informed and that we are ready to fight this together. The email address again is wbccemail@gmail.com. And if you missed it, you could go to Fred Hadley's Facebook or YouTube, because Fred will be putting this video up on YouTube and Facebook and whatever other platform he has. And we do appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, right in the back. Oh. All right. Hold on, sir. Hold on. Ladies first. Yes.
Okay. Gentlemen came up with, is it recreational or is it residential? If we can get them to zone it, to keep it as recreational, this all goes away. They can't build. They can't build 2 houses, let alone 600 units. They can't build any. We have to get them to not change the zoning. That's the first thing.
Sure, right. And thank you. Sir. No, behind you. Ellen. Give it to that guy in the yellow shirt.
Just 2 things.
Yes.
One is, if we are concerned about the relationship with Sacco and her husband, that's why we all need to send emails to every single commissioner.
Correct.
That's important.
100%.
Secondly, as a board president, what I'm going to be doing for snowbirds is I am going to be emailing for proxies for all petitions for the snowbirds. So we've got to reach out to those people as well.
Great idea. All the way in the back. I know you can.
I have the mic.
I'm sorry. He's been waiting very patiently.
I have to too.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. He's letting you have the floor.
2 quick things. First of all, the answer to them is no. Not 2 buildings, not 2 floors, not 1 floor, not 4 floors, none. 0. That's the point of the bar. That's where you start from. Not from coming down 4 to 3 to 2. We don't want anything. First thing. The second thing quickly is the Horizons are a community that is isolated by itself. It's beside some of the other Boca Lago units or pods, but it's by itself. They want to build amongst all of the other pods. In and out of every pod, they want to bring that family unit with the kids on the motorcycles and the bicycles and the scooters and all the stuff that love kids. I love kids. All the stuff that kids do. So that's the big difference. The difference is they want to weave them into our 55-year-old community. And that's what's very important to stop also.
Right. Great point. All right, all the way in the back. Last one, because we have to vacate. Police are going to arrest us.
Okay, two small things. One, how do we offset those cowards dodging us? And then the other thing is there any way you can give us like a list of things that we can do to prevent this?
That's a great idea. So what can we do to prevent them or make, I honestly don't know why Lennar is going to show up tonight. But that being said, I think that this was a great opportunity for us to get organized ourselves a little bit and have a little bit of a rally ourselves. I think everybody is generally opposed to this project. I think that what can we continue to do? Please stay. I think the West Boca Community Council is going to be pushing out a lot of information as soon as we get it. We'll push out when hearing dates are, what talking points are, how to communicate with your elected officials, who they are, email addresses, phone numbers, what you can do for zoning commission. We can give you copies of their application, copies of the narrative, copies of the traffic study, copies of the SCAD letter. We want to make as much information available to you that they won't. They're not going to do that. So we, maybe we can figure out how to put up our own website, and we can put a repository of information up there. This is a big deal. 762 units on Lyons Road and Boca Lago Boulevard is unconscionable. We're going to be pushing it out via, please sign up for our email blast. That's the best and easiest, cheapest way for us to do it. I'll be here a few minutes afterward if you have any
I want to
questions.
say one thing, that we heard from one gentleman about fire rescue and how long it takes for them to get to you if you're having a heart attack or a stroke, to get to you and get you to the hospital. I want to state that Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, as soon as they get to you, they treat you. They have the equipment necessary and the drugs or whatever is necessary until you are taken to the hospital. So I don't want you to think that they just come over, drive over, pick you up, put you in the truck, and then take you to the hospital and sit through traffic. That does not happen. They treat you. And finally, we will be pumping out information. Please make sure we have your information so we can get with you, keep you updated, send you information that we get from Lennar. Years ago when they told us that University Drive was coming through, they didn't care how many people were opposed to it, and we did the very same thing that we did here tonight. We were at West Boca High School and had 700 people, and we said, we will not stop. We will fight. We will get aggressive, and we will fight. So thank you everybody for fighting. Email is wbccemail@gmail.com, and we will be in touch. All of you all have a safe and wonderful summer. Thank you.
Do you email this out?
The new place, to the golf course.